Okay guys, Brian and Mr. Howie here. We're going to be going over single leg sprawl defense. This is a lot more like a sit through than a sprawl. That's something I want everybody to think about. Okay, so red and brown belts, this is for you. It's block 1 youth and teen MMA requirement for testing. Okay, look back because you've also got to show 2 single legs from the yellow orange and the green, blue, and purple. Right? If you are an expert graded rank watching this, junior black belts and above, you need to know everything I just mentioned, plus there'll be another in that next set of material, defense to the single leg, so 2 defenses, and there'll be another single leg, okay? So, you know, as we go up through the ranks, it's all a single leg, but just little different sort of variations of it, and we learn how they tie together with the other ones, things like that. So this would be a defense, and again, I want you to think sit through when you do the defense. So, Mr. Howie, what I want you to do is shoot in on me and like make me hop backwards, like kind of drive me off balance. We'll always talk about this with our shot. Go ahead and shoot in on me. Watch how my weight's gonna lean this way, right? Like saw my head went from being here and I went, oh, right, I'm leaning. So what I don't want is I don't want this. What I want is to lean my body the opposite of the way he would try to push me. And that's gonna put weight down like this. Okay, so as he comes in, right, I'm gonna lean and put weight on his back, right? His back and his shoulder blade and scapula, that's like the primary arm here that's around my leg, it's controlling that, right? So I'm gonna put some weight down here and that's gonna weaken this arm, right? So a little further extended. Now you can push on the head and stuff, but I want you to think just primarily about weight. So I'm leaning. Does that feel like heavy on you, Mr. Howie?
It's getting heavy. Oh yeah.
Right? And then look, my foot stays on the mat. It's almost like I'm doing a side fall. Right? Right there. Now, once I do this, I want to retract that leg and look how I'm right here for a back take. Sometimes when you get out, we'll go front headlock. Okay? So one more time from the knees, Mr. Howie. So when he's here and kind of drive into me a little bit, right, yeah, see, I gotta keep things going this way. And because I'm going this way, there's weight going down on it. And the more I bring that leg in front, like a sit through, look, there's the front headlock. If I want to turn that way, but here is the turtle back take if I want to turn the other. Okay, so what I need you guys doing is when you get good at this, it's going to materialize fast. And you got to react, right? So where we see people lose in grappling exchanges a lot is they win on the sprawl, they stop the takedown, the double, single, whatever, and then they're like, rest time. No, spin, take the back, choke time, right? Like, and I see it at the jiu-jitsu tournaments, I see it in here. It is one of the most commonly overlooked ideas. If you are in front headlock, if you are in turtle, don't stop there. Take the back and choke them. It's one of the first things we teach our new students. Rear naked choke, Mata Leon, right? So how we do this one standing, please. Right, so here. Now, make me hop backwards even. Look how my head's gonna go that way. Right, so here, I wanna lean into it, right? Now, you might make me hop a little bit, but drive into me. It's hard, huh? Right, and I'm more just like, I hopped a little bit, but I didn't move back. And then start going in front there. Just like that. I was like, oh, I may stop and take a rest here. And I was like, no, take the back and choke. That's the idea, okay? So, again, this is like a sit through. My legs going here, and then I would retract it to go behind it, right? Or I would turn belly down. And we do that on the sit through too, to go front headlock. So I want you guys to think about that and implement that into your game. 2 sort of ideas on the sprawl. Double leg, always go straight back. We go like this. Single leg, always goes kind of forward and in front. It's so different, but it's still a sprawl. So once you guys think about that, add it into your game, implement it, and we'll be going over it with this stuff's testing material. Okay, students, Mr. Brian and Mr. Howie here. We're going over our advanced red and brown techniques on the ground, right? So we're gonna be covering submissions, escapes, and a positional escape, right? This positional escape from side mount goes really well with this other stuff we've been doing in terms of the single leg, okay? and we can apply the defense that we've learned with this group to this single leg. So it's kind of another way we can defend against that. So we'll go over that. Escape to the Americana, a different look on the Americana. So, you know, if you guys are red and brown, you've got to know side mount Americana, full mount Americana, and then this one, which we call dismount Americana. This puts us back in side mount, nothing crazy, right? We even show at the expert ranks a flow drill with this, right? One I've done the whole time I trained jiu-jitsu. So we'll get into some of that, and then at the very end, we'll be looking at a flow drill with the arm bar. And everybody knows flow drill 1. It's a positional flow drill. We're gonna do what we call flow drill 2. It's just with the second guard pass we teach. But now we can start adding other things in like the arm bar, right? So let's go ahead and get into our submission, okay? Now guys, what happens if I have Howie in mount? He starts the knee elbow escape, right? So we've seen that knee elbow escape. Start the knee elbow escape. Yes, boom, and then just freeze here. So what happens, and I like to tell people this because you wouldn't think, but from here or the side perspective, where I get stuck in a slider pass, right? He's got his feet pinched around my little foot. I spent whole competition matches stuck right here. Couldn't pass. Because this guy was good and he just was stopping me, right? So we need to have those follow-ups when we get stuck, okay? So when he has stuck me in this, he's got my foot trapped, pinch your knees tight, yeah, boom, yeah, I can't get out. I can't just, use a pry bar. I don't really have upper body control. I haven't completed my passed him out. Maybe I'm coming from half guard, or maybe he just pushed us back in the knee elbow escape. When that happens, I'm gonna dismount over the front. Okay, so here, when you dismount, he's like a crescent kick. I used to always call this a crescent pass, right? I wanna start dropping weight down on him. You'll see, if you look back to our single leg sprawl, real similar, sort of a sit through body posture here. Now look, this. We teach our students when they want an Americana not to push on it, but to pull on it. Because now Howie's like, oh man, an arm bar. I feel like, man, my arm's straight, it's against his chest, and guys, I'm telling you, there's a submission here too. So when he feels that pressure, I'm just pulling his wrist, look, hooking right there, a little shepherd's cane, and pulling. When he retracts that, I'm gonna read in with my elbow here, and there's my finish. Okay, so when you dismount, right, and he's gonna be kind of here when we dismount. I pull that, and when he starts to pull back, we're going with the Americana. So as soon as you get your foot stuck in the middle of this, don't give him the time to knee elbow escape. We're working on the knee elbow escape this cycle. Not only that, we're doing it with flow drills. So that means that like your partners, your teammates, they're gonna be really used to, oh, I got to put him outside the knee elbow escape. Oh, I got to put him out of the hip escape, right? When this occurs and they trap one of your feet, this is the counter. Dismount, crescent pass. I'm gonna start pulling this, he retracts it. I've already got my lock. Now I'm gonna turn down.
Tap.
Sorry, good. It comes on quick, right? And hey, that told me right then. I was like, oh, I hear you. I'm gonna let go right now. I tell my students, oh, if you're gonna tap me, I'm gonna verbal tap, right? And sometimes the gym's loud. So we might, and you did both. You're like, tap. Like I felt it, I heard it, no discrepancy. I'm like, oh, okay, it comes on quick, guys. Like all these Americanas we're doing, the way we teach them, and why our students always go have a lot of success with this move at the tournaments, very tight, right? And you can get your shoulder, and get your elbow. So when we're finishing this in class, you guys are advanced, Don't just rip into somebody's shoulder. Some of our buddies also are super flexible. Howie and I are not those people, apparently, right? But we don't need to rip and break when we do these submission attacks. When we're in the gym, hey man, Mr. Howie, you're helping me figure this human body out, how it all goes together and operates. It's like we're in a lab partners together, right? We're exploring, like, man, how does this shoulder work? How does this elbow work? How could I make it not work, right? So since we're, kind of studying in that way, we always have to be cautious. Think when you're in a biology lab or a science lab, you know, dissecting frogs or whatever. It's gross, I had to do it. You got glasses on, gloves, maybe a mask, right? You have safety equipment, okay? We're each other's safety in here. We're teammates. So think about helping in that way. Like, hey, I don't want you, you're my favorite training partner. Like a lot of times, like, kids, they work, teens, whatever, they work the same kid every time. So I don't want to hurt my favorite training partner. We joke with the adults, hey, don't break your new toy, right? You get a new guy in here and we don't want him to get injured because he'll be our teammate. He is our teammate, right? So treat him accordingly. Always need to talk about and understand the tap, okay? So when he turns and traps his foot here, boom, my foot's stuck between his knees, dismount, start pulling this, pulling, and there's my finish. Look, my elbows are not on the mat, my chest is on him. I'll look up to add a little pressure, tap, and it's barely. Part of it is the fact that when I start moving, I had so much weight here on him, he can't really move. So his shoulders are totally isolated, and that's why it's like, man, it comes on quick, doesn't it?
It does.
I was doing it with Mr. Micah in the last set of videos. It's the same thing, right? And guys, I just really want to encourage you, look at those videos. There are other gyms that finish the Americana the way we do. But we got our Americana knowledge from one of the best sources in the whole jiu-jitsu business, Hicks and Gracie, and his black belts. It is the first submission he teaches in his curriculum, right? The self-defense unit, the very first submission, Americana from Mountain. We see that in a lot of the programs, right? It's also available from Side Control. And this block, we're studying it, and Mount, Side Control, it's a fundamental, right? But I want you guys to all kind of really dig into this because it is a move that's special to our school for whatever reason. The way we do it's effective, and we get it at the tournament, I would say more than any other submission, right? And it's the people that are doing this program, and we do it a lot in jiu-jitsu too. It's the first, that curriculum, it's what we run in jiu-jitsu. So some things to consider there, guys. Americana's great, but be safe. Now, what about defending Americana? We've seen in Side Control, like, oh, I thought you're going for it, I reach, I pull it back in, I hip escape. Okay, put me in mount, please, Mr. Howe. So we saw dismount Americana. In the same way, if Mr. Howie wants the Americana, grab over that and pull it, right? So that's our setup for our intermediate, right? So if you're green, blue, purple, or above, you do this, okay? I pull back, come in with your elbow. Boom, you gotta be careful not to elbow him in the face when you do this. I did it to everybody, all right? Grab. Now, I feel, Mr. Howie, your elbow's on the mat. And some of your knee weight too. Drop that into your body on me. Yes, now twist and turn that way. Yeah, I'll see I'm already like getting ruined right now. So guys, what we've got to do is before that happens, okay? We've got to start addressing, okay? So grab him, start pulling, Mr. Howie. I pull back and you start coming in. Look what I'm gonna do here, all right? I've already got, he didn't get his grip together. I pulled everything into the inside. I step over, and I escape here into his close guard. Okay, so, Mr. Howie. Here, I'm pulling, and I'm like, oh, okay, you beat me, right? And then too, like, see how my elbow's kind of wedged in? Pull that, like almost compressing my elbow, right? And you can grip your hands like you had. Now, trap my foot and roll them right there. Nice. So you see why I went, nice? It's because I fell off of him. It's like getting thrown. You do a good bridge and roll escape. Like fall off, right? Like it's like, whoop. And sometimes when I'm getting swept or showing that, I'll even break fall. Okay, but that was good, right? So guys, when they're going for it, all right, let me do one more. Keep me in mount. He grabs and he pulls in. I start retracting. Look how I'm grabbing and I'm trapping his arm and trapping his foot and coming up into guard to pass. And I will say this. Always seek to trap the foot. If you have the right angle on the bridge and roll, like that. So a lot of times we accidentally go or that way, or that way. it's really like over the top of our shoulder, almost straight up. So you got to kind of go here and here to get that angle. You got to turn your head to the side and then look up. So if I'm bridging, I just got a partner. And that ensures I get over the top of the shoulder. When you do that, it's less of an importance to trap their foot. Still important, but don't let it derail your technique if you can't catch it, right? And that's like coming from a higher level black belt friends of mine than I am, right? It's just like, in the beginning, it's the most important detail in the world. And then as you get more advanced, and we're still just beginners, right, in this program, right? So you're going through the ranks, you guys know a lot of techniques. I think Canelo Alvarez, one of the best boxers in the whole world, fights with their hands down. He doesn't even have his hands up, you know? But in the beginning, he did. In the beginning, he had a good guard and basics and fundamentals. And over time, as he became an expert, like a true, like, top of his field, boom, he made up more of his own style. I'll fight my hands down sometimes now, right? So think about that. That's the artist part of what we're doing. But you got to kind of learn the traditional techniques before we got to learn how to paint before we can be, you know, putting pretty colors on a canvas. And some people, they have a knack for that. Maybe you're that person. Just keep looking for answers. That's the sort of mantra of a martial artist. We're always searching for better ways to do things, more knowledge. Now, so that's our Americana, dismount, and that's our defense. We've got two more things. So it's positional escape to do, okay? And then we'll come back after that and we'll look at our flow drill. Each little last set of techniques on each skill level today for this cycle, yellow, orange, green, blue, purple, has a flow drill at the end where we encapsulate some of our basic techniques we're going over, and some we're always doing. So it's white belt. We review that, so we'll go over that as well, all right? First off, put me in side mount. This is our escape. Okay, so guys, on this, I need to have an underhook, okay? Now, on this underhook, I'm gonna do a couple of things. See my feet here? They're gonna pull me forward as I raise, like this. And look, I turn belly down. I stop here just to kind of talk with you guys, right? I'm gripping my hands together, and my head will go on the inside of his hip. Maybe so. Put me back here, boom. Now, I want my elbow to kind of be out a little bit. Instead of just like my hand straight up, my elbow's gonna be out a little bit. As I pull down, I'm gonna turn here, right? Now, I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna push him over, right? Kind of drives into your hip. One time we did this for like a whole practice. One of my longtime friends and coaches, mentors, Mr. Willie's gym, Bryce Mitchell's coach. And man, my hip was sore from just shoulder. Yeah, you feel it. All right. Get your underhook. Now, instead of just raising your hand, feel the raise. Right? Yeah, that flare out the elbow, but also feel the raise too. Raise and flare, yes. So that's kind of hard. Now you can kind of control this hand a little bit. As you do this, pull yourself down and turn into me. Boom. Grip your hands up to your knees. Now, like almost like you're gonna do mountain climbers, come up off your knees and run around behind me. Oh, yes. And look, I'm going right into the same drill here. So you saw as soon as I grabbed Mr. Howie's knees, it kind of going that way. It's all my weight pushing him over like this. Okay, get down and turtle for me, please. Get the single leg, please. So watch, our single leg defense, here. It works in the same way that we saw from like, oh, I'm standing and he's on my single, right? Or he stood up and he has my single. It works the same way. It's the same sort of defense. We have that sprawl right there. But we use our underhook to escape, okay? So that's all our techniques, right? And again, this is red, brown, and above, right? So that means if you're watching these videos, you gotta know all the previous stuff. If you're a junior black belt watching these videos, you gotta know all the future stuff, plus all the previous stuff, all right? So again, that's why you guys are developing all the time. Always got some new things we're working on, and guess what? They go together. They add on to the things we already know. So we'll be right back with our last set of techniques, which is the flow drill. Okay guys, flow drill 1 is we pass the guard, put them in side mount, and then we go to mount, and then they roll us over. Okay, and these are gonna be really similar. We're gonna do a knee and center break. We're gonna do a knee slide pass. We're gonna go to Kessa, then we're gonna go reverse Kessa. Step over to mount, and then from there, I'm gonna go for an arm bar. So it's a little different than what we normally see, right? Like we're seeing a submission, we're seeing some different passes, right? Things that this group's all gonna be very capable of if you're watching these videos, everyone in this group. So we'll do that, and then when I go for the arm bar, Mr. Howie's gonna defend the arm bar with our bicep defense. We're gonna go here and hand over the head, okay? We raise that hand over the head, scoot onto their leg, and we come up into the guard, right? So that's gonna be the sort of completion of our flow drill when we do that. So I'm gonna be in your guard, Mr. Howie. Kind of go to the side here so you can see all the transitioning. So look, have him down in between your knees, hand in the hips, hand here, okay? Now I'm gonna widen out. And as I come knee in the center, I'm leaning to the back a little bit, all right? And I don't wanna lean forward there. He'll pull you down if you do, okay? So I gotta kind of always be going to the back as I bring that knee in the center. Knee comes up and pass. When we pass, we wanna have this underhook. Okay, now we're sliding under his shoulder. This is Kessa with the underhook and the arm. Now, this hand will go to here. Now I'll go to reverse Kessa. This foot is important. It's wedging against his hip. Okay, so now I want to pull his legs down a little bit and step over with my foot first, not my knee. Now once I'm here, this arm, I'm controlling as I transition. Look how my knee's behind his head. Okay, turn this way, mister. Okay. My knee's behind his head, and I'm gonna put my foot in the mat. Now, here's the problem, Mr. Howie can still go that way to get on his back. Do that, Mr. Howie. So like, slide your hips that way. Yes. Okay, so come back on your side. So when you get somebody on their side, you want your knee behind their head, you want your toe in the mat, and you want your hand in front of their face. Now Mr. Howie cannot go forward to get on his back. If he gets on his back, I'm not gonna armbar him anymore. Now, I wanna swing my head over this other leg, step over the head. Okay, now, Mr. Howie's already, just turn a little bit, already with the program. He's got his bicep and his arm under. Now, raise that elbow up, scoot on my back. Yes, yes, yes. And thread the needle with my guard. Good job. Okay, knee and center break. Nice. Knee slide pass. Sit through the Kessa, good. Now, when you go to reverse Kessa, be thinking about that future arm lock. Okay, so switch down to side mount, reverse Kessa, and that arm, this arm, Howie, will be kind of hooking my shoulder as you step over to mount this one. Yes, now step over to mount, pull me up on my side. Boom, nice. I feel that leg behind me is very strong. So like that'll be the like first thing I'm like, oh, okay, well, okay, just put my shoulder. If that was lower your leg down. Right, now no more arm bar. You gotta get them up on the side. Okay, so here, can't just do that. But I could also go forward, I feel like, right? That kind of just up to your base. So put your hand in front of my face. Can't do anything. So Howie, swing your head that way. That makes your leg that's gonna go over my head light. So you can do that, right? Go ahead and swing it over the head. I'm grabbing my bicep and coming right here. Go ahead, fall back to finish. Guys, look, scoop it off. Here, let's scoop back into the frame. And the arm bar. So if he already has the leg on the head, this kind of advanced detail, I want this. I can catch a little early here, but it gets a really strong leg. What happens sometimes is they make you smack yourself in the forehead with your wrist bone. This is softer, right? Both ways are taught. I tell the students right now, I'm like, this is bonus points. this is totally acceptable. Most people do it this way, right? Go ahead and put here. Like, let's say it's tight on my, this can dig under. Whereas sometimes, because of the shape, it's hard to dig that under. So this shape can dig under and scoop off, right? This can catch also with the C. But then too, if you're coming down hard, it'll hit. So that's why this is beneficial. So we just need to know both, okay? So hook into the arm there. I'll scoop this off here, coming up, and get this guard. Okay, so then it starts the cycle over again. All right, so that's, guys, every technique in that sequence, we know. We didn't show anything new. Everybody, we do that bicep defense for the arm bar and multiple blocks of the curriculum. It's coming up all the time. We know the matted arm bar, that's one of the requirements for the beginner and intermediate ranks. All right, so if you need to know it for this too. Well then, we're pairing it with the defense. We know how to pass the guard. That's the second guard pass you ever learned, knee slide pass. So guys, we don't want to be a intermediate advanced rank and be like, oh, I don't remember that one. So we're constantly, that's why you show the yellow, orange belt stuff at testing. That's why you are responsible for not just the green and, the green and blue and purple belt techniques, or that set of techniques and everything that comes before. So we want you guys to really take a hold of that, right? It's not a lot of techniques when you look at the whole curriculum. It seems like a lot, right? But Americana, we do it from different spots, all right? And then, it seems like we're doing 3 different Americanas. It's one move, Americana. So as you become more advanced, you'll start to simplify it, all right? So hang in there. This is, you guys are doing a great job. If you made it this far in the curriculum, you're almost there, all right? So take these techniques to heart and really work on having a great performance at the testing. Thanks.